Hello and welcome back to Shelf Centered. This is Bryce, and this is going to be my attempt at one-shotting the whole video. I need to limit the editing. These videos take long enough to edit, so we're going to see how many times I can say in a video. An attempt will be made. But here's my top shelf news. This is the top shelf news talking about science fiction, fantasy, and horror sometimes as far as it relates to books and movies and TV and media and whatnot. So let's jump right into first things first, the books. I've got my notes here, so you're going to see me looking down, but I'm trying to one-shot this. We're doing this. All right, first things first, we've got some cover reveals, and they're not my reveals, but interesting covers that have been revealed recently and books that I am looking forward to or liking the idea of, who knows, lots of different reasons. But anyway, The Ice by Ryan Cahill just looks cool. These covers in this series, the War and Ruin and whatnot, there's lots of different names. I might have just named a title or some mix of titles. But anyway, really a well-reviewed series. It's on my list. I need to read it, and each cover that comes out makes me want to read it that much more. So anyway, that's really cool. All right, The Surviving Sky, and I'm gonna have to look at my notes for because I'm gonna mispronounce the author's name, and I apologize for this, but Kritika H. Rao, and I apologize if I'm getting that wrong, but this book is out June 13th, and I just love the cover. The cover alone just makes me want to read it. It's from Titan Books. I had a good relationship with Titan Books. They're always really good about review copies back in the day. So when I was doing my blogging, I've gotten out of that a little bit because, anyway, I like to focus on my own TBR, and it gets hard when you have other people giving you books. I know it's the worst thing in the world. Nobody wants that. But the problem is then I just want to read whatever's new and shiny in front of me. All right. So another great independent, going back to the indies, self-published book, The Necessity of Rain by Sarah Shorn. It's got a new cover, and I'm loving it. If you haven't read Sarah Shorn yet, do yourself a favor. You want poetic prose and just epicness and all kinds of great things, but emotions. You're gonna, like, on the Janie Wirtz level of feeling emotions, which, I don't know how many times I have put down a book and been like, man, that crushed me, it devastated me, it broke my heart, and let's find another like that. It's just amazing that a book can make you go through those things. All right, continuing in book news, not only did Daniel Green follow me on Twitter, which I felt very proud of. It's funny when that happens, but it's like, I've been a huge fan for years now, and he noticed. Sorry about the audio. He noticed me, so I feel like a big deal. But anyway, Breach of Peace is already, as in the full audiobook, is on his YouTube channel. Check it out. Like I said before, I loved it. It's a great book. You can check out my reviews. I had some issues, but honestly, the main issue was that it was too short and I wanted more. And guess what? There's another book coming out too. Well, coming out on the YouTube channel. There already is the other book, Rebel's Creed, that is already out, and you can already enjoy it, and I just need to get it. So having said all that, but that was pretty cool. I just anyway, love Daniel Green's content and channel, and it's just cool to anyway, I think it's a great idea to put it on the channel and see how that goes. But it's read by Kate Redding and Michael Kramer, who also do The Wheel of Time, so absolutely worth your time, even just alone for that. All right, I thought I went into I'm gonna edit that part out. No, continuing on, because I'm not editing. This is straight through. All right, Murphy Napier. I love Murphy's channel. Another one who's followed me and just, again, these, like, my idols that are like, how they've noticed me. But anyway, love her channel anyway. But she has this great tier list done with Brandon Sanderson of him tier listing all of his books, which is insane. I've had to be careful because I haven't read all the books, and I feel like it gets a little spoilery, that more than I'm comfortable with, that's for sure, especially Stormlight realmish. But I thought it was cool. There's going to be essentially a reading group, and that's why she was out, to be kind of close by Brandon Sanderson, to be able to grab him and do an interview in person. But there's like a reading group on Tress of the Emerald Sea that's going to be coming out on Brandon Sanderson's channel, but it looks like with some good booktubers. See, I do try to edit out some of my mispronunciations of things, but anyway, not this time, dang it. All right, then I guess I'll do that in adaptation news and in the media. All right, big one. Anyway, one that just concerning issue coming out. I think for everyone. There's a couple too. I'm gonna get on my pedestal, my podium here. Couple of rants. One is the amount of books that are getting featured on Amazon and being sold by Amazon that are including like written by AI, and one of those is Chat GPT, as I understand it. And it's like a healthy amount being at least co-written, and with, like, you can have a ghostwriter of a book, right? And you can. So we don't even actually know how many maybe that AI is actually writing. Who knows? But I mean, especially with how Amazon works, I'm kind of all over the place with explaining this here, and I'm trying to one-shot this, right? So I can't edit this together. So let's get back centered, right? Here's the problem. There's, who knows, first of all, what's being written in AI, and I guess if it's good, it's good, right? But I'm guessing it's not going to be all that great. I'm guessing you're going to be able to tell, and it just feels like you can slap that together so quickly because it's AI, and just, there's all these problems with like deep fakes right now too, and you can just slap them up so easily because they're AI. They're just computer generated. So I just feel like, are people really getting, their money's worth? That's the concern, like the first kind of concern. The second is just because you can have a ghostwriter, you can have them just write a whole book for you and not even give them any credit. They get their fee or whatever, and there you go. And I've already complained about even just when a popular author slaps their name on a book and it's also written by someone else too, and how much is the popular author really involved in that process? They don't ever tell you, so I always kind of assume the worst. Sorry. Especially like James Patterson, and now that Brandon Sanderson's starting to do that, I have my concerns, to say the least. But anyway, I don't think Brandon Sanderson's going to do any AI. Not saying that, but I am saying that I'm just concerned because you don't necessarily have to give credit to who else is writing your book for you. Seems concerning. Seems like at least AI, maybe that's where we draw the line, where you have to give like a notice of that, and then I can know to avoid it. Anyway, those are my two cents on AI. Gosh, editing is hard, and hopefully I haven't said too many ums. I stopped paying attention after I said it the first time. Anyway, also I try not to do my awkward laugh as much. Man, okay. All right, the next big rant is, so what happened is that Puffin, so a division, the children's part of Penguin Random House, right? And I'll have to edit, and I'm pretty sure that's right. But I start blanking when the camera turns on. And so they published, or did, revisions, well, I guess a re-release, I should say, of a number of Roald Dahl books. And the concern here is, well, they changed some things. And they changed some things which, in essence, I think that's the problem with this, is you can kind of on its surface go, you know what, they're not like terrible changes in and of themselves. And I think there's two separate topics, right? Two separate arguments or whatever, two separate issues you can talk about. Is one is, whether the change is like a good change, and then whether you should even be changing someone's work who doesn't have the ability to have any influence over that, when it's just the estate. So there's the concern, right? So there's the two different ones. I'm really focused right now on, like, I get why they would want to make the changes, so put that aside right now, right? Like the making the changes, I get it. The problem that I really see, and the rant that I have for this, is that this change is huge. It's I mean, what is really the difference when you can? And well, and guess I should explain. Here's, it's I can put it up. Just it's not like huge changes, but changing to take like the word fat out of references to Augustus Gloop in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right? And I've read a healthy amount of Roald Dahl. Like they're really like they have that magical quality of books like Neil Gaiman, like Diana Wynne Jones is another one. Those are authors that have this like magical ability to write that I gosh wish I had. But it doesn't also mean that he wasn't perfect, right? Like I'm not saying that he was perfect. I'm not saying anyone's perfect. And I think Robin Hobb actually has a really good quote on Twitter that I'll hopefully I can find and put up. But essentially, like, where do we draw the line if everyone has to be perfect to write a book or whatever? I mean, right? Like, how far do we have to go into that? But anyway, all that is to say is my concern is what's the difference between if we're gonna change a book, change the actual the story itself, what's really the difference between that and outright banning books? And I feel like as a community, as a reading community, we kind of have we we're generally against banning books, right? That's what I thought, and so it's hard not to compare this to banning books because what's really the difference? Aren't we banning the books because we're afraid of the ideas? And I don't know how many of you like to celebrate Banned Books Week. I like to. I like to point it out when it's coming up and start, have a chance at reading those books and looking at them. And it's like, because we have the ability to freely read those books if we want to that were banned and have been banned by schools or, you name it. But I mean, what's really the difference? And even maybe this is even more egregious, to literally change the book itself into something else, again, without the author's even permission or anything like that. Maybe they would have wanted it. Who knows? And authors will. Is there an author that wouldn't change any book that they've ever written because they notice something that could be made better or whatever? There is not one. I would submit they will always be able to or want to change it, even just a little bit. But to correct these, again, we're not talking about whether the changes are appropriate or whatnot. Like the changes themselves, whether they are a good thing. It's just, this is one of those things that I struggle with, and but when it comes down to it's the problem I have is if you're against banned books week or you're against banning books, then you should also be against this. It's even more insidious because it's like going, oh, the book's there. We just took out what we didn't like out of it. And again, where is that line? Where does that line get drawn? And again, it's a different story to talk about whether you should be reading these books or not, and whether maybe that's a chance for me as a father to my children to talk to my children about, hey, here's what I think about that idea. And you're going to run into people that will think that, and here's why it's wrong, right? It's a learning opportunity. And again, what are books if not, I read studies where books are what make us more empathetic, what else are we learning? Obviously, it's alone from just learning, but nonfiction for learning, you can learn also in fiction, and you can learn about treating other people the right way. And again, maybe this is it or maybe it's not, but it just feels so wrong. And mainly it just feels really hypocritical, frankly. Anyway, I will get down off my soapbox. I hopefully obviously love to hear your thoughts, love to hear what you're thinking, and again, where am I wrong? I'm always happy to go, look, am I wrong? Let's re-examine my views, because I don't know everything, and I'm not aware of everything in the history of the world. I'm happy what I want is truth, though. So I'll get down to that. But anyway, Moving on, get off my soapbox here. Adaptations and media. The media is, what are we talking about as far as that? I was riled up there. All right, first things first, George R. R. Martin has got a new adaptation. Everyone's going to him now. We know he can give you a really good series as long as you have the source material. You will get a good series or show or movie or whatever, as long as you have the bounds of the source material. Once you get outside those bounds, it's dangerous. I'm just saying, as we learned. But anyway, the new adaptation, In the Lost Lands. And so I just thought, anyway, interesting enough. This is one of those where I tried to look up, look at me banging that. I tried to look up where I could find where like some kind of a collection for this. I couldn't find it, but I did find, and I don't know how legal or whatever the rights to this are, whoever did this, but I found a site that has the audio, like an audio version of it, kind of for free on the site. But let me know if you see anything shady about this, because I'm not trying to promote people doing things shady. I want, I'm sure George R. R. Martin wouldn't even feel it anyway, and I'm sure there will be new adaptation releases or whatever once that gets, or book adaptation releases once the show comes out. But anyway, look, it seemed interesting. George R. R. Martin has a knack for short stories. He has some of my favorites of all time. So I'm always all ears when it comes to that. Speaking of George R. R. Martin, House of the Dragon has like a tentative season 2 release. Season 2, we're looking probably summer 2024. And this is through reading articles that are kind of like, well, a showrunner kind of said that it won't be available for the Emmy consideration for this period of time. So therefore, because the Emmy consideration for next year is through like May of the following year, then it's got to be essentially summer of 2024. I don't know. Anyway, that's where I'm getting vague knowledge. I don't know enough about this stuff. But anyway, so it's a while. I looked up Severance too, and it's not like that's coming out anytime real soon. Ted Lasso keeps getting pushed, or at least there's just like, we're just going to be quiet about this. I have to say I'm getting a little frustrated, to say the least. The new way that shows work, like I'd rather have a good show, right? I'd prefer a better show, but it is concerning that we just are delaying these so much. And it's like, I guess, I don't know, I'm like, how are we not ready kind of for season 2 to get moving? And again, you have like, I just get concerned, right? You have like actors get older. I mean, sorry to break that to you. Especially kids. You really only have like windows of time, and then they all have like other contracts for other things, and maybe they're changing up contracts to try to hold people in longer. I get concerned when it's like, this life is never guaranteed, and it's like, how long are we going to kick these out, right? How long do we, each of these, it's like, yeah, we know people can just binge or whatever, but, and that's kind of how things work. And, we don't do the regular, okay, every year, and it's going to come out on Thursday nights and every single Thursday night. And, with Netflix just kind of throwing everything up. And then, but anyway, it just feels like the new norm is to just take like years in between seasons. And it's like, I'm not about that. Okay. I need things now. I live in 2023 and I need everything now. Amazon is back to getting me stuff sooner than a week, when it used to be 2 days, and I got spoiled with that. So anyway, I had a stupid rant there. But anyway, okay. So then I wanted to talk about, all right, Wheel of Time season 3 even, because season 2 we still don't have any trailer, any idea. I assume it's getting filmed or has been filmed or whatever, but we're not getting any real information on it. I've looked it up. One thing I did find interesting, I found Construction on some certain sets on season 3 has been showing up in the wild, and so that's interesting. Interesting to see some kind of conjecture. So I'll link below the video that I found on that, because I don't know anything. They know stuff, but I thought that was interesting. Again, Wheel Time season 3. Let's hope season 2 redeems some things. I struggled with a lot of season 1, and so I still have hope, though. I feel like season 2 is kind of I'm giving it season 2. We'll see, all right? And we'll see if we get to season 3. I might still watch it, but because it's hard not to. I mean, Wheel of Time, it was, very special to me. It was a good reading experience, and I really loved it. So anyway, just hard to see things handled in the way some of the things were handled in season 1. Anyway, I am going to stop right there. I thank you so much for stopping by. Please like and subscribe if this is something you're into, and I hope you are. Anyway, have a good one, and we'll see you. Bye.